funny. You know, when you're in Indianapolis and doing the combine, you got 300 whatever guys. You got 50, 60, 70 offensive linemen now. So comparatively to your position group at your pro day, it's some representative of some capacity from every team is more specific eyes on you. Compared to in Indianapolis, you got this guy, that guy, this guy, that. You got, you know, top 10 picks. You got guys that aren't going to get drafted. You got all across the board. Pro day kind of consolidates everything and gets more eyes on you, more focus on you.
What about the idea that it's at UM? Is there a certain comfort level, or?
I mean, I think so. Probably. I mean, you know, when I was here for a year, you know, most of the guys at the pro day have been here for a while, so it kind of feels like home. You know what I mean? For me personally, it's all the same. You know, it doesn't feel that much different doing it here than it does in Indianapolis, than it does at the training facility I was at, than it does wherever. But everyone's different. It's always good to get back because you know, see your coaches, teammates, a bunch of different personnel that you know you've come to be close with, and then when you leave and train, you don't really see them for a while because you're kind of in that world. So it's good to reconnect too.
So you had 1 year here with Cristobal, Mirabal, and all your teammates. What were the biggest things you learned at Miami that you think can help you get to that next level?
I think part of it is maturity in myself. Part of that's me getting old, 22 years old, played 5 years on and off the field, football and off the field. And then the kind of depth of knowledge that Mirabal and Cristobal has in football, and especially offensive line, as well as just the experience of, you know, I started 48 or something games here. It was a step up in competition. You're getting to play guys at a higher level, teams like Florida State, teams like Clemson, other teams that have guys that are going to be first, second round, third round picks and whatnot. But probably what Coach Mirabal instilled on a daily basis, just the hard work, the discipline, the never stop, go, 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 which he exemplifies more than anybody else.
Now, how do you feel about, obviously, you got a group you're leaving behind here at Miami. How do you feel about, you know, the guys that are going to be taking over for you and Javion now that you're on to the next level?
They're going to be good, and that starts with Mirabal. You know, he's going to have his guys. He's going to have his guys prepared to go, and I know that for a fact. You got Jalen Rivers out there, which would kind of be the experienced leader from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint. Been around a while, played a lot of football. You know, I'm assuming he's going to stay at left tackle. You got Coop coming back. You got CeCe Francis coming back. All three guys that are really, really good football players. And Coop's going to take a big step. And CeCe from year one to year two is going to take probably an even bigger step. But three guys right there, super talented, have a bunch of experience. And then you know, you get a Carpenter coming in, and I've heard good things about him from players and coaches. So he should do a good job of holding it down. And then I don't know exactly what they're going to do at left guard, but there's several guys that I think could slide into that spot. And through spring, through summer, through fall, I'm confident there'll be someone that'll play like a starter from day one.
Matt, has Zach Carpenter picked your brain at all? Have you had a conversation with him?
I haven't talked much to him, actually. I talked to him briefly in the locker room, and I think he might live in the same apartment complex as me, but I haven't had much conversation with him, just briefly.
And one other quick question, just with Samson. Obviously, everyone knows what a highly regarded tackle prospect he was coming in. He's getting some guard snaps. Yeah. Do you think he's got the body type that he could be an effective guard if that's where he begins his career?
Yeah. No, he can play guard. And body type, I think, is always objective, you know, because Samson's 6'5", 6'6", 320, 325, whatever he is now, which is perfectly fine to play tackle, perfectly fine to play guard. So he could probably play center, got long arms. And I think with Samson, if he does stay at guard, continue repping that, he's got quick feet, he moves well in a small area. You know, he's a big, imposing guy, but he moves around like a guy that might be a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, and I absolutely think he can play guard. Yeah.
Matt, what's been the best piece of advice maybe you received from your fellow players going through the process, who've already gone through the process, about this whole combine pro day experience leading up to the draft?
Probably just you know, everyone says, whether it's a guy that just finished his rookie year, guys that have been around for a while, coaches, scouts, everybody that's kind of had a part of it, is that, you know, this is like the longest year of your life. You know, you camp, we're talking back 2023 college, camp starts, you go through camp, you go through a whole football season, which in and of itself is a long time, that can be taxing. And then you kind of jump right into training, and you do that for 2-3 months. You do the combine, a few more weeks, you do your pro day. Still training, then you go to a team, you do rookie mini camp, you do OTAs, you get a little bit of time off to start camp, you go through a year. I think just being mentally and physically prepared that you're about to go for a long time in a row, and everybody always says this is the longest year of your life.
Yeah. And I asked James, you know, those are always the funny questions they may ask you at the combine. He said they asked about him versus Cam, who's the better safety. Did you have any funny ones? If you did, care to share any of them?
I don't remember. I might have, dude. That stuff all goes in and out one ear. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of anything right now. Yeah.
Barry may have asked already, but it's like, how did the combine stuff go for you, and how do you feel today went?
The combine was good. From a physical measurement standpoint, and from what I did do at the combine before the broad, the vertical, like the drills, everything went what I wanted to get, and I think exceeded expectations from a broad standpoint. And then here, you know, went well. I benched, I did the shuttle and the 3-cone, and gonna do the drills and we get around to it, and all that went well. And you know, the time that I have put into it for the last few months, you know, it's paid off, and it feels good to kind of wrap up the testing part of the process.
And what did you do on the bench?
25.
Nice. You know what your times were like the shuttle?
I don't know what the shuttle time, the 3-car time was. Hopefully, pretty good. They felt okay, but you know, it was good. You know?
And how have your meetings gone with NFL teams? What teams have you met with? And you know, how did those meetings go?
Good. Between the Shrine Bowl and the combine and the kind of stuff that you schedule over the phone or over the Zoom, I've, to some capacity, met with probably every team. I think there's a few teams that probably I've met with more in depth, maybe Cincinnati, Minnesota, maybe out west, maybe Vegas. There's a handful of teams in there, but I've talked to a bunch of teams, and that's still a developing process, kind of as you go through time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is you have anything set up for like the near future?
I don't know right now. I might right now, but we'll see in the near future.
Gotcha. Is there anything today that you, or from the combine that you liked how you did, or do you anything that you feel like you need to improve on?
I liked all the testing I did. The 40 was good. I ran a sub-5. Broad was like 9.3, good. Vertical was a 31, that's good. Bench 25, I'm good with that. I don't know what the short shuttle and what the 3-cone was, but I hope it should be at least pretty good, at least decent for what I put my standards at. But from what I know, I'm happy with how I performed. Could have done a little better and everything, but all good enough to display enough athleticism.
And then just in general, like, how does it feel to be in this spot, like, you know, getting ready to start your pro career, so you know, that you ever take time to like reflect on just how far you've come and everything?
I think, I mean, every day probably. I think a good indicator of that was in Indianapolis. You know, when you're out doing the workout, you kind of get caught in the process of it and don't really think back. But I know when you go on the strip and you're running the 40, there is a little thing in your mind. You're like, dang, I'm at the combine running the 40. Like, you know, you grow up. It's kind of the staple of the NFL combine per se. So definitely there, and just in general, you know. But you can't think back too much. You can't reflect too much. It's always a growing process. You know, 1 inch at a time, 1 inch every day, 1% every day, whatever you want to call it. But just keep going, keep getting better.
Matt is going to ask you, any 30 visits lined up to teams?
No.
Not at this point. And you'll go to the Dolphins local day next month?
Yeah.
Right, maybe dinner the day before?
Yeah.
Excellent.